The Hebrew word shalom, usually translated as peace, actually means something closer to bring to an end or to come to a conclusion. In a word, completeness or completion. Shalom then isn't about not being in conflict, but it is about being, in a way, at rest, having a sense of wholeness. Shalom is one of the clearest values of the Jewish tradition. We pray for shalom multiple times at every service. It is the primary word for greeting and for farewell, and it's probably the Hebrew word most widely associated with Judaism. Our ancestors, too, saw shalom as central to Judaism and saw Aaron, Moses' brother and the first high priest, as the greatest exponent of shalom. Our tradition describes him in contrast to Moses, who would say, "Let the law pierce the mountain," meaning nothing can stand in the way of the law, while Aaron would put shalom first, pursuing it above all else, including the law. In this way, our tradition may even value Aaron's focus on shalom as a greater virtue than Moses' focus on deen, or law. Our Torah, though, has a very clear story of the pitfalls of Aaron's personality. When the Israelites were worried that Moses would never return from the top of Sinai, they demanded Aaron make them an idol to worship. Aaron, in the plainest reading of the story, capitulates immediately. The traditional commentators do mental backflips to explain this away, suggesting that maybe the Israelites had first gone to another leader in the camp and killed him when he refused to do it. So Aaron, now scared, did it quickly. They also suggest that maybe Aaron took it upon himself to build it, but built it extra slowly, giving Moses more time to return from the top of Mount Sinai. They also suggest that Aaron made the calf only for the non-Israelites in the camp, and that a handful of Israelites unfortunately followed them in worshiping it. One source even goes so far as to say that God was pleased with Aaron for having done this, which is really the exact opposite of what the text tells us. This midrash says that Aaron took the sin of the Israelites upon himself by building the golden calf with his own hands, rather than allowing them to build it themselves. Our sages are clearly scrambling to cover up this narrative of Aaron disobeying one of the core tenets of the Israelite covenant with God that had just been revealed a few chapters earlier, and simply because the Israelites asked him to. He tried to bridge the gap of shalom between what he knew was right and what was being demanded by his people. I can imagine our classical rabbinic commentators seeing themselves in Aaron. Most rabbis had to, and still have to, learn to bend and shape the halakha, Jewish practice, to suit their community. Certainly there have been red lines that could not be crossed, such as idolatry, but most decisions that rabbis made and make have to be weighed quite carefully to preserve Judaism while making space for the Jews of their day to live their lives. So what red line did Aaron really cross? Well, we know that many of the Israelites from the get-go had been complaining and saying they'd rather just return to Egypt than be out in the wilderness, not knowing for sure where they were heading. The golden calf may have been an extension of this. It was a representation of the divine they would have been comfortable seeing and perhaps worshiping in Egypt. Aaron was attempting to bring the Israelites back to a previous time to a world that they understood and found comfort in, even though it was also a world in which they were enslaved and treated harshly. Aaron was trying to give them the impossible, a return to a nostalgic past, in order to bring a kind of form of shalom, but instead gave them an empty, hollow peace, an idol, certainly not shalom. His desire to create a sense of easy peace, even while knowing that what the Israelites were asking was both destructive and certainly wouldn't bring them shalom, led to a horrible catastrophe. This, then, should be one of our red lines. There is no return to the past. There's no rolling back the clock. Human existence simply does not work that way. Any attempt to claim or do otherwise will always end up a lie. Instead, true peace, true completion, true wholeness, shalom, comes from accepting where and when we are. And real leadership leads to that. I invite you this Shabbat to consider shalom, especially in your lives when confronted with conflict. How can you avoid building a golden calf for others in order to keep a hollow peace? How can you use your position in relationships to bring others forward beyond the illusions of a nostalgized past? How can you avoid the pitfalls of seeking a hollow peace and instead seek out the robustness of shalom through truth and righteousness? May each of us learn from Aaron and Moses the proper balance to bring ourselves and each other a world of true shalom. Good Shabbos.